non-obvious but exquisitely important biological findings. Now, the pedophilic brain structure does indeed seem to be different from the non-pedophilic brain structure. We're not exactly sure where yet, and we're not exactly sure how yet, and the differences are slight. We can pick them up when we have large groups to sample, but we can't see it on an individual brain scan. Now, the brain differences that we're seeing are not consistent with what we see that we're able to change, either with drugs, with learning, with experience. It's become known, and a lot of people do correctly point out that, oh, the brain is not as static as it used to be. That's exactly true. Brain cells can reproduce. We used to think that they could not. But the parts of the brain that can change, and the areas where cells do divide, is in a very specific, very small area in the hippocampus. It's not in the enormous areas of the brain that we found that are related to pedophilia, or at least that my group found were related to pedophilia, nor is it related to the areas of the brain that the two German groups, that one of the German groups studied. The temporal lobe theorist, that is where that set of cells works. We can also now say that pedophiles respond basically in the same way that non-pedophiles respond. It's the same areas of the brain. The areas of the brain that are ultimately responsible for sexual interest. But they respond to stimuli depicting children rather than to the stimuli depicting adults. So to return to our questions, to the big questions, is it in the brain? That's pretty undeniable. Something is in the brain. We don't know any of the details yet, but we can't get away from the idea that pedophilia is something about the brain. Can we treat it? Again, the basic question for, well, it's in the brain, often gives us the idea that, well, therefore we can't treat it. Things in the brain can't be treated. Now, we have to